You may think that this is just another quaint little American garden, but you'd be wrong. Join us and self-proclaimed novice entomologist Alice as we explore all that lives amongst the flowers.
Our mother planted these a couple years ago, but they keep on coming back by themselves. They provide a great habitat for many insects, and sometimes even where caterpillars can grow into beautiful butterflies, and sometimes even for little reptiles. This garden is also it also serves for a food source for many insects, including bumblebees, honeybees, and this insect called a milkweed assassin bug. This bug will be showed later in the show. This bug feeds on milkweed, and it is actually very common, but it can hurt you if it bites it when handled. Even though that these bugs are so commonly seen, their bites are so rare. Many and only a few of the moths that visit this garden daily. We have many different types of moths that come here, ranging from colors to brown, to black, to white, and sometimes to gray. So this is a moth. Right now, she is getting nectar from these beautiful flowers. Right now, her tongue is very, very thin, but it can soak up a lot of nectar, which very much helps her because she's gonna need that nectar whenever it's time for her to migrate. This beautiful moth right now is collecting nectar, which is very high in sugar. So whenever it's time for her to fly, whenever it's time for her to take to the sky and fly to find a new mate and to migrate, she will need that energy. If you were a human and flowers were big enough to you and you sucked in all of this pollen, you would have a sugar rush. That's how much sugar is in one of these flowers. This is a female bumblebees. Females and queen bees are the only ones to have stingers. This female right now is collecting nectar from the plant. As you can see, there are little clear parts under it, and watch it very carefully and you can see the tongue. This female bumblebee and the rest of her sisters and brothers and queen actually their nests are under the ground instead of up in trees like most people. Small female honeybee is getting pollen for her family, for her sisters and her family, and also for us humans. This honeybee makes more honey than the bumblebee does. They make more honey because they save the nectar instead of using it all for their larvae and family. You can see the pollen that this honeybee is carrying. You can see that it carries more than the bumblebee. This species is called a Lucifer bee fly. Whenever they are larvae, they usually eat eggs of insects, of different insects. They also eat larvae of different insects and caterpillars too. The rest of the life cycle is not really known, but as an adult, they usually feast on on pollen from flowers and nectar. Right now, this male and female are mating. And they both fly connected to each other. As you can see right now, either those wasps are mating or they're just waiting their turn for the nectar. This little green anole lizard is one of the type of lizard that is native to North America. These lizards can range in different colors from brown to gray to green. They change colors based on how they're feeling and if they're stressed or not. That's why they have a nickname called the false chameleon. This green anole lizard right now is camouflaged. It's hard to see him, but when you do, he will most definitely run away from you. But these bugs use their camouflage as a defense mechanism. They will use this camouflage so then they can sneak up on their prey without them knowing and grab them. These lizards are actually very good for your garden. So if you see one, might as well leave it be. They eat harmful insects for your garden, including roaches, caterpillars, which will eat the leaves and flowers out of your garden. These lizards are very skillful climbers because they have, kind of like octopuses, they have kind of like suction cups on the bottom of their feet, which helps them climb from different ranges. These lizards also do not have claws and they do not have teeth, kind of like snakes. They just gulp it up whole. Their main diet consists of insects, mainly ants. This is called an aphid. An aphid is an animal that eats on the sap of different plants. And when it does, it creates a liquid called honeydew, in which all of these ants, of these worker ants, they try to keep the aphid alive, so then whenever it makes the sap, they can go up and eat it. So the aphid produces their food, and that's why they want to keep them alive. So it's like they're working together. Teamwork makes the dream work in this scenario. If you ever see one of those little specks, remember that is an aphid. And when you see an aphid, there usually are a bunch of worker ants right behind it to keep it alive. The aphids are bad for the plants because they're eating the leaves from it, but the ants decide to farm them because they make their food. This is called an Alpactus beetle. Their shell kind of looks like an almond. These beetles are pests. When these beetles will get in your garden and they will eat the roots off your plants. So then your garden will die. But good thing the milkweed assassin bugs, which we've seen in this garden a couple times, will eat these pests, so your garden won't completely go deceased. So remember, if you see an orange bug, remember, keep it alive. Don't kill it, because they are pest control in your garden.